Okay, the OV-10, this airplane was a key part of the war against the air because the OV-10 forward air controllers, unlike forward air controllers in South Vietnam, patrolled every square mile of the Ho Chi Minh Trail, all 700 miles, both day and night, looking for movers, guns, supply caches, and whatever. Now to patrol this, we had to stay above 5,000 AGL, and generally higher than that because they were shooting at us all the time. So we did most of our surveillance with binoculars, which was kind of fun. You'd hold the binoculars in this hand, you'd hold the stick with this hand, and you'd fly for 4 hours jinking and looking at the root structure, often while they're shooting at you through binoculars to try to figure out what the hell is down there. On the right-hand side is a poster, a North Vietnamese poster, propaganda poster showing the People's Army of North Vietnam with their guns shooting down an American aircraft. Okay. So how'd we navigate up there? There were only 3 TACANs in country. Those TACANs were placed on top of mountaintops in Laos by helicopter, and some very brave souls would sit up there because this is bad guy territory. And about once every 3 months, the enemy would climb up the hill and blow it all away and have to do it again. So we didn't really have any aids to navigations. We used very detailed maps. And we used landmarks, so we all knew where the Dog's Head was, George's Head, where the Bra, et cetera, and we talked to each other like, hey, I'm over here by Dog's Head. All right, I'm 15 minutes out, I'll meet you there. And that's how we got around. We didn't have any GPS, we didn't do anything. We went everywhere based on landmarks, dead reckoning, and maps. What did the forward air controllers look for? Well, first thing you look for was any square angle. You know, in a jungle, there are no square angles. So if you saw a square angle, it basically, and this is a very obvious one, this is a truck that its head is camouflage blown away and is about to get really its head handed to it. But you can see the difference in what it looks like by looking at a square angle. Other things we look for were vegetable gardens. Okay? The North Vietnamese had to support their people not just by bringing rice down, but they grew vegetable plots in the sunlight because it's really hard to grow vegetables under triple canopy jungle. So they'd clear jungle, put a vegetable patch up. When we saw the vegetable patches, we knew what was going on down there. So that gave us a pretty good hint to really look for a place where the North Vietnamese were encamped. On the low water crossings, for those Texans here know what a low water crossing is, just a ford on the river, we would look for the splashes every night to see the pattern of the splashes from where the trucks had moved and the severity of the splash pattern to see how many trucks had gone down there, and then we'd go a hunt. All right, once we found stuff, we'd call in fighter bombers, we'd put down smoke rockets so that they could take out whatever we could find, and hopefully we'd kill as many trucks as we could in one day or one night. It's a picture of me over the Ho Chi Minh Trail taken by Ted Stuckey. I don't know what we were doing, taking pictures of each other because he must have had a camera. Okay. Nekon Phanam Thailand, it wasn't all terrible. I mean, this is kind of the daily routine. NKP, as those of you know that were there, was located right on the Mekong River, across the river from Laos, which was bad guy territory, but Thailand was peaceful. You know, we never got attacked, we never had a problem, no big deal. 5,000 airmen were there. Most of the airplanes there flew 4+ hour missions, you know, every time we flew, which equated for me to about 60 combat hours per month, which is a lot of getting shot at. You know, that's a lot of time to fly. And again, right across the river, this is a picture of a little stair step with golden gates on it that would go down to the Mekong River, and across the other side is the country of Laos with the karst mountains beyond. So we'd go down to the waterfront and drink beer and look over there and worry about what was going to happen tomorrow, but it didn't slow down our beer drinking whatsoever. Yeah. We partied a lot. That's me and Jimmy Lowe in party suits. You've seen a series of them here. Gabby was wearing Cliffs yesterday. We all wore these funny little party suits. I don't know why, but it just made it look cool. I can still fit into my hat and my socks. When I was a nail fac, I was given a little pig to raise as a joke. The Air Force, and here the pig is getting bigger, so I got her a party suit as well. Took her for a walk. The Air Force had a regulation that said that squadrons could in fact have animal mascots as long as they were dogs, so this pig's name was I'm a Dog. We had some real characters in the whole air war, as you may know. This guy with the improbable name of Leonard J. Funderburk was nicknamed Thunderchicken, a remarkable guy. He's from somewhere like Yazoo City, Mississippi. He was true Southern all the way through. Well, the chicken hated guns. We all hated guns, and we couldn't see the guns, even though I told you there were almost 10,000 of them out there. They were camouflaged and moved around every day. So it's not like you flew around and say, oh, there's a gun position, there's a gun position. We couldn't see them from our altitude, even as 4-air controller A1 drivers. We just saw them when they started shooting at us, okay? So the Thunderchicken had a brilliant idea about how to find guns. He would go down to treetop level, okay, and look for gun barrels. This is not conducive to long life. Okay? And Chicken did this for almost 6 months, and after a while he got so successful. Now, he didn't tell any of the brass about what he was doing. He would just find a gun barrel, he'd climb back up to about 6,000 feet and say, Eureka, I've discovered a gun. And at that period of time, they would send in one of the first of the laser-guided paveway bombs that would come in. They kept them specifically for Thunderchicken for a long time to blow guns away. And there's one of the big bombs. That's the result in the jungle where the gun was. Leonard J. Funderburk won the Air Force Cross as a first lieutenant for being an absolute madman. He was the guy that destroyed most of the guns that were ever done in the air war overall. He's an interesting guy.
Is he still living?
Funderburk is still living. Yeah, he's somewhere out there. I think he runs a bar now.